Hey, YA. Today's reading is Revelation chapters 12 through 18. A couple things to talk about briefly here. We start off in chapter 12 with a kind of a different different view of the Christmas story. You see here where a woman's having birth pains, and then this dragon is appearing in heaven. The dragon is Satan. And then it says here, his tail swept down a third of the stars of heaven and cast them to earth, and the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child, he might devour it. She gave birth to a male child, one who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, but her child was caught up to God and to his throne. And there we have just a really quick picture of Jesus' life. He was born in spite of Satan's objection to it. And then he rules the nations and was caught up to God into his throne. That's the resurrection. And then we see at the end of chapter 12, at verse 17, it says, "Then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war on the rest of her offspring, on those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. And he stood on the sand of the sea." Just a reminder that part of our Christian faith and Christian walk is we are going to be, the more of a threat that the devil sees you, the more he's going to come after you and try to get between you and your love for the Lord Jesus. So keep that in mind as difficulties arise. Now, as we go through 12 and 13, we learn about the beast and the mark of the beast, and there's a lot of cryptic language in there. But many people have done a lot of studies on this, and there's a lot of different explanations for what all this means. So I won't go too much into that, but one thing I do want us to remember here is in chapter 14, verse 12. It says, "Here is a call for the endurance of the saints, those who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus." It's just a reminder, right? We see all these things that might happen in the book of Revelation, but we just got to keep our faith in Jesus and keep the commandments of God, and we'll be protected. And one other thing that I really enjoy, and I like telling people about, is if we have questions about different things, the mark of the beast or the bowls of wrath, right? You get yourself a study Bible. You got all these cool footnotes down here that give, people that have been, give the notes of people that have been studying this for a whole lot longer than we have. So with that, with everything that's going on in your life, are you a saint that is keeping their endurance and keeping the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus? Have a great day, YA.